So here's some quick Zoom tips and tricks. I try to throw it into every presentation that we do, just in case you haven't used Zoom yet. Just try to play with it is all that I can really say, because that's kind of just how I learned, and every platform or every device is kind of different. So in the chat box, I've attached the link for the workbook in the class. If you just copy that link, it should take you right to the Dropbox file of the workbook. And this is one of my favorite classes to teach, and it's because I like to get passionate about why we do the things that we do, why we are in real estate, and I also like to help agents succeed. So this kind of just incorporates all of that together into one class. Heads up, I will ask you guys some questions in this class and maybe even call on some people, and it's just because interaction and discussion is what makes these classes go really good. So I'll explain soon, because it's kind of a part of this content as well in this class. So let's jump in. Welcome to Real Estate Perspective. So when face to face with your own mortality, you will undoubtedly say one of two things: I'm glad I did, or I wish I had. The objective with this perspective course is to kind of assist agents with developing the right mindsets, behaviors, and relationships needed to be successful in real estate. My hope is to help you create better habits through this course so that you can go and rise above kind of that typical agent status in our industry. A career in real estate offers a genuine opportunity to generate an unlimited income. So if you treat your new business as a business, no one dictates how much money that you can or will make each year. But as an agent, you can make as much money as you have reason or passion enough to make. So now, before we get too overly excited, you should be mindful that a career in real estate has kind of some dark sides to it as well. Agents can work 80 hours a week and earn absolutely nothing. How, you're probably wondering? Well, it's usually because they don't have a clear direction, or succumbing to an illusion that busy work and productive work are the same thing. One key difference between top earners and the rest of the industry herd is that top earners intentionally move towards productive and stay away from busy. So to succeed at your highest level, you can't incorporate a wish, wait, and hope strategy. The industry will reward those who truly kind of aspire to have a purposeful direction, take vital action, and remain focused and consistent on priorities of goal achievement. So it's really up to you. Before we jump into the material, please understand that another purpose of this class is to kind of read, underline, and share. If you have what we like to call an aha moment, write those down so you can come back to them and try to collect your thoughts later as you kind of review the material again on your own. These courses provide examples and strategies and dialogue and kind of some blank examples that you can throw into your business. So what we want you to do is kind of take those examples and make them your own. And don't be afraid to branch out on the concepts and ideas that are presented in these classes, and just do it in your own way. So irrefutable fact number one: real estate is a get-rich business. However, it's not a get-rich-quick business. As stated before, the amount of money that you make as an agent is based entirely off of effort, a purposeful direction, taking vital action, and remaining focused and consistent on priorities of goal achievement. Implementing all of those things over time leads to an unlimited life. So, first question to you guys: why do we work? Can anybody tell me why we work?
To make money.
We have to have a why.
What'd you say, Rhonda?
We have to have a why. I do it for my home. There are things, I just moved down here 4 years ago, and I have a retirement from teaching, but my why is because I want to do things to this home.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Paige, also, we work to make money. That's exactly the answer I was looking for. And your time is kind of your life. So in this graphic, we begin by explaining that time is our only limitation. We only get 24 hours in a day. So your time is then devoted to yourself or your relationships. You can see under the self portion, that people typically have spiritual, physical, mental, or emotional obligations. And you can also see that there are obligations to your relationships too, like having a family, spouse, wife, kids, friends. The point is that if you aspire, you will need time and money to fulfill those aspirations, taking away from other personal obligations. Now, you notice this line before financing, and that line is deliberate to fulfill those aspirations, or I'm sorry, that line is deliberate because it shows you what business and finances are for achieving those aspirations. And we're going to talk about that under the finance section in just a minute. So you don't live to work, you work to live. You can either create an unlimited life of abundance by earning an income or having a passive income. Earning income means that you're working just to make money. However, having a passive income means that you're working as a choice, which leads to more money and more time. So remember, the goal is to live an unlimited life in an unlimited amount of time. So if you want to live an unlimited life, you must generate an unlimited income. This graphic shows you how to generate that unlimited income. The only option that truly allows for an abundant life are on the right side of the graph. If you are employed by somebody else, your salary will be limited to the amount that your boss is willing to pay you. If you're self-employed, your income will be limited by the number of hours you are willing and able to spend into your business. The arrows on this graph represent the path that agents can take to that unlimited life. And to have that unlimited life, you must choose the path that allows you to leverage leverage the work of other people. So as Judy Ledore would say, why do we build a business? To eventually sell that business. So, sorry, don't know, glitch. So like I said, Judy Ledore talks about that we build a business to eventually sell that business. And that's a valid point. If anybody had attended her conference that she did at Tantera a while back, that was a really, really great conference. And that's something that she talked about. So most agents can and do spend their time in that self-employed quadrant, and that's totally okay. However, if you truly want an unlimited life and an unlimited income, that comes from taking your self-employed status and leveraging it to become a business owner with staff, or maybe even ultimately an investor. But again, it's completely up to you. Any questions so far? Okay, good. So it begins with the way that you think. The truth, and I love this truth on this page, is most people don't progress because they place limitations on themselves, which usually show up in the form of excuses of why they can't do something. Thoughts rule the world because they determine feelings and actions. So for example, can we think ourselves into happiness? Yeah. Can we think ourselves into fury? Yeah. And we can also think ourselves into depression or maybe even illness. So if we can think ourselves into all of those mindsets, then why can't we think ourselves into mindsets of like nobility, creativeness, or successfulness? The main point of this slide is that positivity usually breeds more positivity, and you want to be contagious with that positivity. If we only take care of our thoughts and our feelings, our actions are typically going to follow. So I like to throw this graphic into this class because I do believe that there's a lot of truth to it. For you to start moving you and your business towards a level of success, you must start with yourself. So I must express that in putting these ideas and graphics into my life, that's personally changed my life for the better. Some things that I've done and have noticed that I've seen benefits in are, changing who I kind of allow into my life. I no longer allow people into my life that display negative or unsuccessful traits. I find that I'm more negative when I'm around those who display more negative behavior. So again, you want to be contagious with positivity because that just only allows for more positivity. Another thing I did is I worked daily, and I still do, on kind of having and maintaining a positive mindset. I also blasted that positivity and my mindset on all my social medias or anywhere that I possibly could. And I found that when I did that, I was able to help more people. I was able to have more ambition and more drive to continue doing the things that I was trying to do. Another thing is I refuse to not be productive. I started reading versus kind of watching TV. I started incorporating podcasts or vlogs instead of listening to music. I started making lists, both personal and professionally, and started working towards those action items to be kind of more productive every day. Implementing a good activities management system into your life helps a lot. And that's another course that we teach in this agent development series. And then finally, one of the biggest things that I started thinking about was how I wanted to think more selflessly and not selfishly. And that helped me a lot when it came to mentoring others and gave me more purpose and energy to continue down that path. So the main point that I like to bring this graphic in is it all starts with you and changing your habits, really dissecting those habits and making changes to improve them that ultimately improves your business over time. So one of my favorite quotes of all time is, whether you think that you can or you think that you can't, you're right. And that's by Henry Ford. But thoughts do matter. In order to create a life of abundance, you must train your mind to think in unlimited terms. So limited thinking leads to a limited world of scarcity. Unlimited thinking leads to a limited world of abundance, but the choice is yours. So what are limited beliefs? Does anybody know?
I would say limited beliefs are anything that is keeping you in your comfort zone. I don't know that there's a good definition for it, but like those things that keep me in my comfort zone are usually limited beliefs. Like, I'm staying here and I'm not doing this video because I don't believe I do videos well, or whatever. That would be an example.
No, that's perfect, Danae. Limited beliefs are those that typically hold you back. So unlimited beliefs are those that don't hold us back. So let's take a look at some limited beliefs that you guys have maybe right now. So I want you to take just a couple seconds and write down or think of 5 limited beliefs that you're currently possessing. Remember, these beliefs are the ones that are holding us back. Okay, who would like to start by sharing some of theirs?
I can start.
Okay.
One of my biggest ones right now is that I feel like I can't be successful because I'm not actually living at the lake yet. Sorry, my son's in the background.
No, it's okay. That's a great example, Paige. That's a really good start. Do you have any more that you thought of?
That's my biggest one for right now, is just I don't feel like I can be successful because I won't be there to immediately be able to show a house if someone asks.
Right. Who else had some other limited beliefs?
I think one that I struggle with is that I feel like I don't have enough experience with luxury listings to really go after that market. And I think that limits me from trying to get out there and get them. And obviously, I know in my mind that a lower end property is the same as a high end. There are no differences. In fact, a lot of times the luxuries are easier, but for some reason I can get tied up in the fact that, hey, I don't have as much experience as, say, Mel does or Jane Kelly does or whoever. So I think that I struggle with.
Yeah, that's another great example of a limited belief. Does anybody else have any more that you thought of?
I struggle with when it is busy season that I just cannot be everywhere I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just reality. And I always try to accommodate all the buyers or sellers. But fact is, I just don't have enough hours in the day or days in the week. And I'm talking busy season. Obviously now we're shut down, but when it comes back, it's going to hit, and it's going to hit hard. And I do kind of worry about that.
I like that example, Rhonda, and I hear that one a lot as well. A lot of people, especially getting into the busy season, are kind of stressing that. And then on top of it, with this COVID-19, it just kind of adds a little bit more stress to it as well. So I relate. We hear that one quite a bit. So some other key examples of kind of some limited beliefs are, I'm too busy, I'm failing, there isn't any business right now, or possibly I have no clients. Those are all examples of good limited beliefs, as well as the ones that you guys provided, which I appreciate. So you see, these may seem harmless until you realize that your beliefs form the rules by which you play the game. So having those limited beliefs can really hold you back if you don't take the initiative to try to change them. So let's change these, the ones that you've given me, and then some of the examples that I give you, into some unlimited beliefs. So kind of change that thought process and rewrite and rethink those limited beliefs, or reword them to make them unlimited. Okay, so does anybody want to give me one that they had changed to an unlimited belief?
Well, in my situation, what I always am concerned about is I want to take care of all my customers, but I basically have to come to the realization that I have to pick and choose who I'm going to work with. And then those that I can't, I refer out. So it's still kind of a win-win situation. They're being taken care of by another agent. I'll get a referral out of it, and hopefully everybody is happy.
That's a good way of changing that thought process, Rhonda. I love it. Does anybody else have another one?
My thought process is I'm as successful as I put myself out to be, so I will be able to be successful. I just have to put the effort in, and it might take a little more, but that's what you have to do.
That's perfect, Paige. Perfect. Anybody else?
Mine was just going to change from I don't have enough experience with luxury listings to just I have all the tools necessary to get any and every luxury listing I go to.
Perfect. Perfect. Some other key examples, going off of the examples that I threw out to you, is, I schedule my time with productiveness in mind. I refuse to fail. Real estate follows the law of abundance, or I will go and meet new people. So just taking those limited beliefs and switching them to a different mindset of that unlimited beliefs can really help continue to push you, continue to give you more drive, more ambition. And that's kind of where that changing your mindset comes into play. So now we're going to talk about growing to your next level requires you to kind of do three things. Doing something beyond what you're currently doing what you're currently doing at a more effective and efficient way, and or leveraging yourself and your business. So all of these require an open mind and a willingness to learn. And since there's no growth without discomfort, the key is to become and remain learning based. So what is the difference between being learning based and ignorance based? It's okay if you don't know. So learning based is I know what I know and there's more to know, kind of having that mindset. Whereas ignorance based is I know what I know and I'll kind of ignore everything else, or I kind of know it all. So can someone be learning based but not committed to self-mastery? Yeah. But with that, like, how will I know if you're committed to mastery? How will anybody know?
I think the biggest thing is that if you're constantly striving to learn but not perfect those aspects that you are learning, that is what that's when people start spinning their wheels. And that's when you get guys that are jack of all trades, master of none. So they know how to do all this stuff, but they're not an expert in any of those fields, I think.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect way, Brandon, to think about it. The main point too, like you were saying, or what you were alluding to, is I'm going to know, or those around you are going to know that you're committed to mastery because you're simply going to take action. Like you were saying, Brandon, you're not just going to learn and not incorporate your knowledge into your strategy or your business. So you're not going to learn for the sake of knowing, you're going to learn for the sake of growing. And you become a master by studying, practicing, and retaking these courses as often as you can. So what path are you on to today? Is it know and go, or committed and grow? But what you want to do is you want to think of it this way. Learning to know makes you a Jeopardy contestant. Although that can be entertaining, it doesn't increase the bottom line. So what does increase the bottom line is your willingness to study, practice, and implement the vital activities of a thriving agent. So learning to grow allows you to clarify choices, meaning what you are currently doing and what you're willing to learn, which leads to taking action, and then to building habits that shape your character to kind of determine and control your destiny and your legacy. The truth, it's not about gaining an understanding of the basics, but it's about mastering those basics. And mastery is more about going deep than learning something new. Every class we have to talk about mastery, and here's why. This graphic shows that by retaking these courses while your perspectives are changing allows for more action. So to reinforce your learning, you need to be taking any ahas that you have gotten from these classes, study and practice those ahas to then take action or act upon them. And then you want to bring that experience back to the next class to gain even more ahas to then keep reinforcing and to keep growing. So the truth is, talent is kind of overrated. Mastery is simply about taking time over tasks over time. You simply must spar. So does anybody know what spar means? No? That's okay. So spar means to study, practice, take action, and reinforce. And you want to think about it this way too. You know, nobody of mastery, my mind always goes to Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan wasn't just born with the skills of basketball. He sparred to master his skills over time, and he had the intent to get better. So you must also have some intent. Training must always extend beyond the classroom for it to matter. Any questions so far? So why do people succeed? Can anybody tell me? It's because they intend to. Sorry, Rhonda, what'd you say?
They've gone after the goals and achieved them.
Absolutely. Yeah, so people succeed because they intend to. Like Rhonda was saying, they go after their goals and they don't stop until they achieve them. So let's take a look at this graphic outlining the internal and external dimensions. So an internal dimension is an overwhelming, burning commitment to act, or like an intense feeling or passion. An internal dimension is more about a willingness than anything else. Whereas an external dimension, that's moving towards an environment that best supports you and your goals, or seeking out training, systems, tools, and relationships, things like that. So the external dimension is more about your ability than anything else. As you can see, the content quadrant is just that. I want it, but I'm not moving towards it. Typical agents usually fall within this quadrant. And then as you can see, the failure quadrant is kind of where business death occurs. I don't want it and you're not moving towards it, so there's nothing more that you're really doing. The frustration quadrant is more towards something that you don't want, which leads to being burnout, overworked, or leads to busy work but not vital work, basically acting out without a plan. And then finally, the quadrant that everybody wants to be in is this abundance quadrant. And that is more of wanting it, moving towards it, and by being intentional and proactive. So now with that in mind, with this graphic under your guys' belt, we're going to move and talk about how you become intentional and proactive. So you want to be intentional and proactive, but how? You need to have a model for success. And beginning with intentional and starting with defining your aspirations, what do you want? I would strongly recommend that when you define your aspirations, you make smart decisions. Your aspirations must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and have a time bound. That's what SMART breaks down to as an acronym. You must also be intentional by developing goals, plans, and strategies for achievement, focusing on developing your direction, which leads to your expectations in the long run. But before we transition into proactive, you must also have a willingness and ability to be proactive. You must be willing to display your motivation and possess the skills by attending training to then implement this model of success. With this willingness and ability through motivation and training, you can then start to be proactive, beginning with implementing vital activities and moving towards them. This is done through consistency, efficiency, and proficiency, which allows you to then kind of hold yourself accountable and focus on what's working, what's not working, and tweak your progression and expectations to lead you to that abundant success level. So abundance requires a complete development program, and what is great about this graphic is that you can read it both vertically, horizontally, or both, but the reality is no matter how you read it, it does lead to success. So that's where this graphic comes into play with this content, is as long as you're focusing kind of on these things, whether it's vertical, horizontal, or both, you're ultimately going to lead yourself onto a path of success. So behind every productive act is a great reason why. Your journey begins with two simple questions. What do you want? Which in a micro sense, what needs funding in your life? Specifically, it's crucial because the answers when linked to your business become kind of a justification for leaving your comfort zone. And then the second question is, how badly do you want it? All aspirations begin with wants. However, wanting something just isn't enough all the time. Therefore, your wants must evolve if you expect them to be realized. So let's take a look at the 4 stages of an aspiration. So number 1 is a want. You have to define and talk about it, but yet nobody takes action, and it gets back to that talk is cheap. Or you can be at that number 2, the desire, where you're moving towards it if it's easy and convenient, being comfortable, but you're not getting outside of that uncomfortability level. Or you could be number 3, where you have passion. You're willing to suffer for what you want. You're willing to get uncomfortable and push yourself. And this is kind of where you want to be. You want to be within that passion level. Or 4, you can be at an obsession level where you let it take complete control of your life, and that can get unhealthy. It needs to be incorporated in these so that you can be aware of when it can get unhealthy and kind of be mindful of that as well. But you want to notice the truth here on this slide. No one is passionate about making more money. They are passionate about what that money is going to provide for them. So vague aspirations end up in a vast wasteland of wants and desires, and you have to have passion to achieve your abundant lifestyle that you're wanting. So something I tell my agents all the time, especially within this class, is if you want something bad enough, it shouldn't have a deadline. It should be something that you're constantly working on daily. You are probably asking me though, like, Kaylin, why is this important? And I'm going to tell you. When you attach your personal needs, wishes, and dreams to your vision, that's what it connects. It makes a passion link. You must view your daily activities as a means to a passionate end. So what worked, what didn't work, change what didn't work. Passion links help you endure the temporary pains of being out of your comfort zone. So that ultimately leads to, I'm glad I did days, I'm glad I did weeks, I'm glad I did months, and I'm glad I did years. Now let's talk about kind of a financial requirement. Now that we've linked your passion, you've thought about things that you can change within yourself, within your business, now we're going to move into a financial requirement for real estate. So a business is by design. It begins with a financial requirement. So behind every vision, there needs to be money to fund it. People don't just luck into great lives. Instead, they're intentional and proactive about creating them. They know exactly what they want, why they want it, what they expect to get, and how much it will take to fund it. They understand that before appropriate business plans can be assembled, life aspirations and financial requirements must be specifically defined. So whatever your dreams or your aspirations are, place them into categories like these that are on the slide, and budget around them to make a reality. And then they kind of give you a sample budget on this slide. Again, these are all just examples. If you don't have anything, please feel free to take some of these and incorporate them into your business. But if you don't prioritize and budget, you run the risk of succumbing to a dangerous, like the more I make, the more I spend approach. Instead, we need to make a business plan and have a budget. Again, you just want to reiterate that this is an example if you don't have one. Not funding something on your plan should ignite a feeling of pain, and most people fail to create wealth because they have no plan for their money. So let's look and think about what your mantra is going to be when it comes to your financial requirement. So if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up somewhere else. Having an ordered plan for your money built around specific reasons allows you to create a meaningful mantra designed to keep you focused throughout the whole year. The entrepreneur's mantra, like on this screen, is it's unacceptable for my business to profit less than blank. Keyword being unacceptable. You want to set your mantra yearly and keep it visible so you can remember what your hard work is trying to achieve. Remember, you get out of life what you put into it. So now that you have established your meaningful benchmark, you can begin designing the appropriate funding vehicles. This goes into assembling your business goals, your plans, and your strategies. Does that make sense? Cool. So, irrefutable fact number 2, real estate sales is basic. Achieving what you aspire, your why, is basic following this next section, and then tailoring it to what works for you and your business. So let's dive in. So a business worth owning is built on sound principles. Successful business owners understand and are firmly rooted into core fundamentals of their business. You must always be a student of the real estate game. This begins with understanding some basic concepts. So remember, to move away from typical to world-class, you must separate from the pack and display your willingness and your ability to overthink, outwork, and out-strategize the competition. So this graphic summarizes what we are going to dive deeper into point by point. However, real estate is a numbers game, and our game is made up of the following. So we have 28 beliefs, 3 models, 8 functions, 14 responsibilities, 6 ancillary arms, 94 vital activities, 13 dollar productive activities, 14 key standards, and then you have 24 hours in a day. So the importance of establishing beliefs is to determine perspectives and justify behavior. Beliefs act as a behavioral filter, and when pieced together, you can begin to kind of define yourself. We all have beliefs right now, beliefs in our personal life, beliefs of where we want our business to go, but we need to think about them before we move forward. So a belief is defined as a habit of the mind, which is acquired by frequent repetition. And this is done often. So beliefs ultimately lead to a reality. The truth about truths is what we frequently think about becomes internalized and accepted as truth. Truths, once internalized, guide our thinking and thus your behavior. Your beliefs ultimately define your reality and thus your world. Having well-defined beliefs makes it easy to say yes or no. It also helps when you have to say no, or if you're feeling guilty about saying no to something as well. So success begins and may very well end with the way that you think. Now that we know that beliefs will steer us in the right directions, let's look at some core entrepreneurial beliefs, which is how you need to think when it comes to your business. For the sake of time, we won't address each one, but please look over these and reference them when you're thinking about your business. All these beliefs offer a way to communicate with clients as well. Being able to throw out a belief can really show your value as an agent too. Can you guys think, looking at these core entrepreneurial beliefs, of any that might be missing? It's okay if you can't. Sorry, you guys kind of all went up to the top of my screen, so I had to find you. Let's look at some more. So here are some basic real estate sales beliefs. These clarify and allow you to keep perspective about the real estate game in general. So possessing these can keep good days good and help you get out of those bad days as well. You know, real estate is a get-rich business. Real estate is sales is basic. You know, going over the things that we've talked about previously and that we're getting into, leveraging those within your mind can just really keep pushing you to keep achieving your goals. Same with listing and selling beliefs. So these clarify and allow you to keep perspective about sellers and buyers. Possessing these can help you get listings and sell homes to clients seeking their new homes. These also, when incorporated, give you an additional kind of script to use when you're having appointments or maybe even conversations. So we also cover these more in depth in our conversion classes. But after looking at these beliefs, do you or anyone see anything that really just stood out to them? No? Yes? Okay, that's okay. We're gonna keep going. So now we're gonna look at those three models. So thriving agents generally operate from three basic models that when put together, they make up a business plan or the backbone of your business and are relied on to generate your income. So you want to think of it this way, a flow chart, basically, beginning with your life aspirations, leading to your financial requirement, which leads you into your economic model, what your business must do. And then this branches off into your operational model. This is how your business will do it. And then your organizational model, which is who in your business will do it. The operational model revolves around strategies, and the organizational model revolves around functions. So these all lead into activities and thus leading into performance standards. But let's look at them kind of individually for just a second. Again, guys, you want to have all of these kind of grouped together in a business plan. It's kind of you're formulating your own business plan for your business that you're going to stick to year after year and tweak year after year. So the economic model revolves around commission and volume. So to make money, you must adhere to one of the three vital business economic models. There's only three of them. So you can either be high commission, high volume, low commission or high volume, or high commission and low volume. So real estate sales is a low commission margin and a high volume business, which leads to high revenue and high profits. That's what that graph means down below. And then you want to think about calculating your transaction benchmark. And to do that, you're going to kind of follow these steps. You will also notice that in the workbook that they have provided examples that you can use to calculate your commission rate schedules as well. Again, just providing examples for when you start formulating your business plan and putting it all together as a whole. Then we kind of move into the operational model. And if you've been in my classes before, you know that I talk about the operational model in almost every class that we have. And that's because I highly recommend that if you are wanting to focus on activities that surround the real estate business, that you print it off. We will have another example in a bit that has kind of some more vital activities that you can be doing every day. But this also kind of provides a snapshot of what you should be working on too, in case you don't have that readily available. You should kind of always be prospecting. Prospecting leads to generating leads. which leads to converting leads, which leads to servicing those leads, and then through marketing, which in turn generates more leads. So it kind of just gives you a flow chart that you can follow from start to finish. Any questions? Okay. And these are also in your book. These are some know, do, have plan templates is what we call them. Since you can't know and do and have everything, it's kind of important to break it down. So these provide you an example of how you can take a source or a department of your business and quickly analyze everything that you need to know, everything that you need to have, and then thus do your strategy. So putting together these plans will force you to kind of strategically analyze each component of your operational model and help you to kind of determine where your business's strengths and weaknesses are. Weaknesses will then be used to dictate training and development needs later on. Does anybody currently break down their current strategies or plans in their business? Or have you thought about it when kind of thinking about your business plan? Well, it's okay if you haven't. I just wanted to see bouncing some ideas off. But again, these are just examples. You can take it for any source, any department, and kind of break it down so you can know what you need to know and what you need to have for every strategy. And then we want to jump into the operational model. And you want to think of this as kind of a support page for that organizational model. This shows that 8 positions or functions of a real estate sales business. So the dollar productive positions being the listing, buying, and team leader positions, the administrative positions being the listing, closing, and marketing coordinators, or the admin or the runner. Every single agent kind of has to wear all of these hats, especially individual agents, and it can be very hard to juggle all of those things in a 24-hour period. So you want to think of it this way. Of the 8, only 1 and 2, the listing specialist and buying specialist, are the most dollar productive. And the other 6 are stuff that can bog you down. So you want to be mindful of how you're going about all of these 8 different positions throughout your day so you don't get bogged down with more administrative work or things like that and not be focusing on your dollar productive work. And then underneath those 8 functions and positions that we were talking about, you also have 14 responsibilities that branch off. So we cover these more in depth in the conversion classes as well. However, again, if you notice, only 1 and 2 are probably your most dollar productive. The point of all of these is to kind of express that this is all on a systematic approach, that people who have kind of lived before us have categorized and taken time to really think through. So these should help you when you try to categorize your business and your time. Focusing on what is vital from the very beginning can save you time, save you money, and get you to your goals and aspirations or your why. Does that make sense? So we must learn that vital activities are those that must be done, relevant activities are those that must be delegated, and irrelevant activities are those that must be ignored. So these ancillary arms represent the people or the systems that relevant business activities are kind of delegated to so you can remain vital and remain dollar productive. So who do we want as clients? Who do we want to work with?
People that are buying or selling houses.
People that are buying and selling houses. Good answer. We want to work with clients who are either ready, willing, and able, or motivated, qualified, and loyal. One of those 2 examples. But if we have those clients, we need to kind of delegate them to the following arms. So you have kind of your preferred mortgage, title, and inspection companies on this page, as well as your 16-touch, 8 and 8-touch, and 33-touch programs that serve as kind of your follow-up programs. Again, just examples. You can make them your own touch length or whatever. They don't have to be 16 or 8 and 8. but they're used for clients that are not quite ready or willing or able, or maybe not qualified yet, so that you can continue to follow up with them, but focus on clients who are ready, willing, and able, or motivated, qualified, and loyal. And also those are covered a little bit more in depth in the marketing and referral boot classes as well, boot camp classes as well. So your workbook covers both the 47 vital listing activities and the 47 vital buyer activities. They're a little lengthy, and to save time, like I said, we won't go through each one, but they total about 94 vital activities that agents can use and to not waste time. What's great about these is that they are a find to close checklist for agents. You want to find what works for you. Again, these are just examples that you can take and make your own, but I highly recommend that you have these within your business plan. The goal is to get you consistently like working in vital positions and on vital activities, and then move you to consistently being dollar productive. So this is kind of what those listing activities look like. And then you can see that the buyer activities are very similar. So you can take these, print them off, scratch out maybe something that doesn't apply, and put something that you're currently doing or using. And they really are very helpful when you're thinking about a finding to close checklist for clients. So the real estate industry can look overwhelming if you don't understand priorities. Remember how I told you that we would look at a graphic that would outline some daily dollar productive activities? Well, these are it, but kind of in two different forms. The process is the same. I highly recommend that you guys print these out though and look at them daily, especially if you're a new agent getting started. So what you want to do with these is you kind of want to start up at the top where it says closings, and you want to ask yourself every day, do I have any checks or do I have any closings today, this week? If not, you want to go down and you want to go to this next one. And transactions, and you want to ask yourself, okay, do I have any deals that I'm holding together? Or am I negotiating offers, listings, any offers at all? If not, you're going to go down to the next one. And that's kind of how these work. This pyramid one works the same way, just kind of focusing on closings. Are you negotiating contracts, and so on and so forth. But you will do this until you get down to kind of this prospecting part. If you go all the way down on a particular day. And then at that point, you would just want to start calling and generating leads. So like I said, this other one, again, goes into that prospecting section where you can kind of daily look at how you can generate more leads that will ultimately take you back up on your dollar productive food chain here. So today, I also sent out a vital activities checklist for agents to use during this COVID-19 pandemic. And I'll try to attach that when the video gets done, and incorporate that as well for anybody that didn't see that email, or maybe get that in our Grow, Thrive, Inspire group or whatever. But I think that those are really great lists. And if you guys have any questions, let me know about those. But are you guys currently using any checklists right now? I mean, even outside of the COVID-19, I'm just talking about day-to-day business thinking.
I kind of use, because I got the booklets before I started, so I've been using pretty much this checklist right here, kind of, or not checklist, but I've been using it kind of as a checklist to like keep track of my progression, because I'm so new that all I do right now is prospecting. That is pretty much all I do. I have one listing, and then other than that one listing, that's all I'm doing right now is just prospecting and trying to convert buyer leads. That's it.
Now, Brandon, do you feel like these are helping you stay focused and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even like last week, I had my niece was born last week, so we went up north, but I was still thank you. So I was still doing all these same things, but it was all, I focused a lot more on the prospecting side of it, and then because I had talked to you previously about making a sheet for all the FSBOs and expires I was getting a hold of, and I'm just like perfecting that and getting that system down, because it's what has worked so far. So I'm trying to build off of that, and everyone's been really awesome about helping me and just making sure I'm doing my job. So it's good.
No, that's perfect. And I love how you said that you were taking that and mending it as you go every day too, because that's another struggle that I see is, you know, people are doing these, but they're not kind of focusing on what's working and what's not working. So I love that you're taking that and just making it your own and making it work. So that's really awesome.
One of the biggest thing too I'm finding is is like I'll have to make different like categories for like when I call them, how am I keeping track of them, what notes am I taking, and then just breaking it down on when I have to do those callbacks, how I do those, and then like color coordinating everything and making everything super organized and all that stuff. So
yeah, and that can be a struggle too. I know when I was showing you that particular example, I had to do the same thing. You know, you just kind of take it and you start it and you just keep building it day after day, and eventually leads to color coding or notes or whatever. So that's awesome. Does anybody else use any kind of like checklist system? I mean, what does that look like for anybody else? Okay, if you don't, just checking. Okay, so again, just to summarize before we go to the next slide, if you guys don't have a daily priorities checklist or you're not working off of something to kind of keep you focused on vital activities, I highly recommend that you utilize something like these as an example, or maybe create your own. So we also want to talk about 13 key conversion rates. And these are important because they allow you to track and see what you need kind of each month or each year or day, kind of depending on how you're doing it, to get you to that mantra. So having these also helps when trying to convert clients to show your value. Being able to say things like, I have a 98% list to sale price ratio or X number of days before closings can really help show value and show interest in your business for your clients. So these show up as key indicators of success in some of the other classes, but that's essentially what they mean. And that's another thing that I included on that unbranded daily checklist that I sent out today for the COVID-19 is, you know, you can even take this time to work on those rates, like Brandon was saying, you know, whatever you're utilizing, whether that be an Excel spreadsheet or just simple pen and paper, kind of recalculating those, making sure they're accurate for you and your business. So at the end of the day, again, you have 24 hours and that's our only limitation. So there's no such thing as time management because you can't manage or control time. Time is what it is and it's impossible to manage. So however, you can manage and control your activities you implement during the time allotted to your career. So all of you are usually working with some kind of block schedule or keeping up a calendar on some fashion. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Anyway, all of you kind of working on blocking out times or maintaining a really good calendar, but you really want to focus on these 4 categories for time blocking. So you want to do a lead generation, a lead conversion, a client care, or maybe even personal development. But it's crucial that you create a time budget by defining the number of hours that you will dedicate to your career, because your time is valuable. Like your time means something to you as well. So we want to move you from a mindset from time management to calling it something like activities management, which again, getting back to changing that mindset. And it'll also have, like, we also have a whole activities management class on this as well that breaks down how to manage your time, block your time, how to account for the hours that you work. And it is a really vital and awesome class. I highly recommend it. And we'll be doing those via Zoom as well. So all you have to do is act. Please note that there are more examples of templates that you can use in your business should you want any. I want to stress again that the importance of any class is just to take action or to act. So should you want to act and leverage your business or tweak your business, you know, please work on some of these items in the back of your book and send them to me. Or you can also create some no-do-haves as those example templates that we had for your business strategies and share them with me. You can create new activities management schedule and show me kind of how you block your time. You can also create a vital activities list and share that with me as too, something that's more tailored to what you want to do or how you want to do things for your business. And then you can create your ancillary arms or touch programs and kind of show me. We can work together on those. But every day you kind of want to be working on those vital activities and coming up with your own strategies. So my email address is on that slide. You can send me those anytime if you do want to take action and work on things. Also think about doing just an overall business plan. I know we have some really great templates on our pipeline account that we use every year for our business planning session. And I'll try to maybe incorporate those when I link up this video after the class, but pay attention to those as well. Also, if you guys love this class, testimonials are always appreciated. We want more agents to kind of attend these classes and spar together. And when that happens, you know, we get a lot more out of the class and more aha moments. So if you got something out of it, you know, please send it to me or maybe why others should attend these classes. And I would really appreciate it. So do you guys have any questions or concerns?
I'm good. Thank you.
I'm good as well.
All righty, guys.
I am too. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, and I hope you have a great day. Please let me know if you have any needs or concerns, okay?
All right.
You
Thank you,
too.
Kaylin.
Bye.
Take care. Bye,
You
guys.
too. Bye-bye.